So for the masteries, I usually go this page, which is 0, 18, 12. I go down the cunning tree to get Thunderlord's Decree, and I go down the resolve tree to get the little bit of tankiness and insight, which is pretty much the most important part in, using this mastery page, because I always take teleport, and I think insight with the 15% cooldown reduction on the summoner spells is really strong. I always like going tanky with Katarina, and I think that going down the resolve tree will help her laning phase out a little bit, even though her laning's pretty bad. This kind of helps you survive with the HP regen and the extra health that you get. You also get both movement speed masteries, which is Wanderer and Explorer, so this helps you roam more efficiently. Because you get that extra movement speed out of combat and in river and bushes. Also, I think Thunderlord's Decree is probably the best option for Katarina in terms of the keystone. I think it synergizes well with their playstyle, which is pretty much just burst. And this keystone is pretty much the only one that provides that kind of burst. And on top of that, it's really easy to proc Thunderlord's Decree. You just throw out a Q, mark them, and you just have to pop the mark, and that'll proc Thunderlord's Decree. I usually go Assassin instead of Secret Stash because I feel like there's a lot of opportunities where you can catch people off alone, and you would have that extra damage to kill them. But if you prefer to go Biscuits, you can do that as well. I don't think Assassin is completely necessary. You can also grab Biscuits for the sustain for lane. Here's the second page. This is 6, 18, 6 going down Sorcery and Feast in the Ferocity tree, and still getting Thunderlord's Decree in the Cunning tree, and pretty much only getting Recovery and Explorer. This is a more offensive oriented mastery page. I would get this when I would take Ignite. I usually take Ignite, in matchups that I feel confident in, and matches that I don't necessarily need teleport for. But if you get teleport, I think you're better off going into deeper into the resolve tree so you can get insight. But because you don't have teleport, I don't think insight is that good, because I don't think having Ignite on constant availability is that great. So you would go a little bit into the Ferocity tree to get some of that damage. I actually think Feast is actually a really strong mastery. I think it helps her laning phase a little bit in terms of sustain, because Katarina does need that sustain in lane to survive and just farm up well, and Feast does help you a little bit with that. There are two other options. There's Double-Edged Sword and Exposed Weakness. You can get those if you want. Exposed Weakness I think is actually pretty strong, because before a fight or when a fight breaks out, you can just throw your Q and it'll proc Exposed Weakness, and they'll be taking more damage, and that'll help you reset. There's also Double-Edged Sword. I'm not a big fan of this one. I like to trade in lane, and this makes me take more damage. And Katarina has really bad sustain in lane, so I think this is a little bit counterintuitive. I still think Feast and Exposed Weakness are better than Double-Edged Sword, but I would prefer Feast over Exposed Weakness because Feast just helps your laning phase that much more. I'm also going to bring up this page. This is pretty much like the full damage type of mastery page, and it goes down 12 into Ferocity and 18 into Cunning, getting Thunderlord's Decree. The reason why I want to bring this up is because I want to show you guys why I don't use this page, and pretty much the main difference is that you go into Vampirism or Natural Talent or Bounty Hunter or Oppressor, and you don't take Recovery and Explorer. The reason why I would prefer to go into Resolve Tree rather than take these two masteries here is because first of all, Vampirism, which is the 2% lifesteal and spell vamp, isn't that useful. Natural talent doesn't give you enough, and it's just a bad mastery overall. Bounty Hunter and Oppressor, they're okay, but they're situational. They're very snowbally masteries, and if you don't have that snowball effect going on, it doesn't really help you at all. So it's pretty inconsistent in terms of what it provides. If you don't get kills, you don't benefit off these masteries. So I don't think these are good masteries if you want to stay more consistent. If you want to stay more consistent, I would go down 6 into the resolve, get that HP regen and the movement speed.